Hello, my love. Good morning to you. I hope that this finds you well. I always seem to hope it finds you well. I hope you are well. I hope that whoever you are with is well. I hope that your loved ones and your friends are well. I hope you are well. I'm thinking about you, as always, and I hope if you are not with someone, I hope you consider reaching out to a friend today, perhaps, in some form, whatever myriad forms of communication are at your disposal. I wonder so often with these how old you are as you view this, where you are in your life. Alas, I do not know. I hope that these get to you, that's for sure. Anyway, I was thinking about complaining, and you know all too well my position on this. I was not a fan of complaining, which is not to say I didn't do it, but I most certainly was not a fan of it. I felt at its base that it was just unattractive. I also felt it was worthless and worthless and not worthwhile. But it was something that when others did it, I found that I did not enjoy it. It did not endear me to them. And so I reached the conclusion that I should not do it myself. More importantly, I reached the conclusion that it just was a waste of my time. And this is different from venting. Venting is when you are faced with a problem and you need to express your displeasure with it. It's a nuanced modification or differentiation from complaining. But venting is when things have overwhelmed you in your life and you need to share that with someone to get it off your chest. Complaining is a beast of a different nature. It is more of often repetitive, the same thing over and over again. So one could take as an example, and this was not necessarily the rule that I had followed, but if you mention it once, you are venting. If you mention it twice, you are complaining. And if you mention it 3 times, you are just annoying someone, most likely. But that was my personal view of the matter, and I perhaps was more sensitive to being annoyed than others. It's just that if you're complaining about something, it's sort of put up or shut up. Solve the problem or accept its existence. Resolve it or accept that you cannot. Those seem the better choices to me in my life, and I recommend that approach for you instead of a constant state of exasperation about an issue. So, take it for what it's worth. Here's a challenge for you, too. As you know, assuming you pursue the fasting or any sort of regimen of fasting as I did, which was all over the map and under medical supervision and etc., etc. But it's one thing to fast. It's another thing to try and do it without complaining. That is a challenge, especially for a prolonged fast. So. There was also the complaining thing. It occurs to me, and I remember hearing about this from the Tim Ferriss podcast, but I want to say that he had heard about it from someone else. I think it was a no complaint experiment, or there was someone who, let's say, almost wore a band on their wrist to remind them not to complain, or maybe they had money in a jar. There was some sort of thing. I'm sure that you could find this easy enough. But that also, I remember when I came across that, how much I concurred, so to speak. So, take it all for what it's worth. Know that I am thinking about you. I love you. I hope you're well. I hope you go forth with goodness. I hope that there are few things in your day to complain about. And if there are, I hope you approach them consciously, whether you decide to complain or not. The rules are most definitely not hard and fast, and most certainly not from me. So, with that, I will bid you adieu.